You ever have one of those mornings where you step outside, coffee in hand, breathing in that crisp, quiet peace, only to find 12 Karens in sun hats blocking your million-dollar view, arguing over folding chairs, leaving lipstick-stained cups and diesel-soaked trash all over your private dock? Yeah, that happened to me. Let me tell you, when Brenda, hair sprayed so tight it could block a nor'easter, screamed, "Common property at my $2 million Marina gate," she had no idea she'd just picked a fight with a retired Coast Guard engineer who spent 3 decades chasing rule breakers for breakfast. Brenda thought she was about to kick off another one of her Thursday wine parties. She had no clue she'd just walked straight into a legal buzzsaw. And by the time I was done, her little book club was the talk of federal prosecutors and late-night group chats all over Connecticut. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Who lets a bunch of wine moms hijack their dock every Thursday for 2 whole years? I'd ask myself the same thing every Friday morning as the smell of spilled Chardonnay and cheap perfume hit me like a hangover I never earned. You'd see 12 luxury SUVs lined up, rows of crystal clinking against my teak railings, soggy cheese plates floating like little life rafts in the water. And every time I'd ask, "Hey, maybe don't block my boat with your yoga mats?" Brenda would just smile at me, like I was a lost puppy. "Marcus, don't be antisocial. Community spirit makes Millfield special." Community spirit. Lady, you're running a commercial operation on my property and pocketing the cash. Let me back up a sec, just so you know how deep this rabbit hole goes. I inherited this slice of Millfield Cove, Connecticut's own waterfront version of Monopoly, from my Uncle Frank, the most stubborn, engine-obsessed Coast Guard vet you'll ever meet. Frank didn't just leave me a house. He left me a 6-slip marina he'd built back in '87, with every permit, approval, and environmental study in a folder thicker than Brenda's last property listings. Pro tip: if you ever inherit land, check for separate deeds. Frank left me 2, one for the house, one for the marina. That's called legal dynamite. Now, Frank's marina wasn't some weekend project. He designed floating docks for the Coast Guard for 30 years. When I moved in, the place was mostly empty. Uncle Frank's old Boston whaler floated in slip 3, covered in seagull crap, and the air was thick with creosote and diesel. Perfect, right? Felt like home after 30 years in the service. That piece lasted all of 4 months. Enter Brenda Kessler, 48, real estate agent, HOA chair, and I swear the only person I've ever seen iron her yoga pants. Her husband, Roy, city councilman. The kind of guy who remembers your wallet size, not your name. Brenda's first invasion was a Thursday in May. 12 SUVs rolling down on my dock like some entitled wagon train. I watched from the porch as the book club unloaded enough wine to float a small destroyer. "Just using the community marina for book club," she chirped when she saw me. "Hope you don't mind." The audacity nearly made me spill my coffee. "This is private property," I told her. "My uncle built this on his own land." Her smile froze, eyes went sharp cold. "Well, there's obviously been some confusion. We'll have someone look into the paperwork." That someone turned out to be Roy, who miraculously discovered an HOA covenant claiming the marina was community property. Never mind, it was built a decade before the HOA even existed. Details, right? And instead of, asking nicely to use it, Brenda started charging her book club members $50 a pop for marina access. She was literally making money off my property, turning my Thursdays into a personal hell. Every week her crew would show up, block my boat, rearrange my deck furniture, blast music, and leave a mess that made a frat party look classy. The last straw? Security footage of one of Brenda's wine-drunk friends trying to steal Uncle Frank's restored whaler. Cheered on by the rest like it was spring break in Daytona. So, I dropped 12 grand on a steel gate with electronic locks and enough cameras to make the Pentagon jealous. The look on Brenda's face when that thing clanged shut, priceless. But instead of backing off, she declared war. Next morning, I'm sipping my coffee, and there it is, a 3-page HOA complaint accusing me of antisocial behavior detrimental to community harmony. I nearly choked. She scheduled an emergency board meeting, conveniently on a Tuesday morning, so no one with a job could attend, to discuss my unauthorized gate installation. Unauthorized. I had every permit in the book. Her secret weapon? A pink highlighted copy of the 97 HOA covenants, supposedly covering all waterfront facilities. But the marina's deed said otherwise. So I did what any decent Coast Guard vet would do. I hit up the town hall, found Mrs. Henderson, the only person who's filed more paperwork than Uncle Sam, and asked for every document on file. Turns out, Frank's original 1987 permit stated it crystal clear. Marina built on Lot 47B, not under HOA control, completely separate from the residential lots. Mrs. Henderson raised her glasses and dropped a little bomb. Brenda had asked for those same documents 6 months before I moved in. Get this, she'd even asked about adverse possession laws. She'd been planning this Marina heist since before my moving van showed up, figuring a couple years of community use might muddy the legal waters enough for her to claim ownership. Armed with a manila folder full of proof, I walked into Brenda's HOA kangaroo court. The meeting smelled of vanilla air freshener and manufactured outrage. Brenda opened with a PowerPoint, preserving community values. Nothing says grassroots like corporate slides. She showed photos of my gate from every angle, dramatic red arrows and all, warning about selfish individualism. Claimed 3 families were thinking of moving because of my hostility. I let her finish, then laid out Frank's permits, environmental study, Coast Guard approvals, everything showing the Marina had nothing to do with the HOA. Silence. Brenda's face cycled through 5 stages of grief in 10 seconds. But she wasn't done, started mumbling about implied easements and community access. I shut that down. Implied easements don't apply to party zones, only necessary access. Meeting dissolved into awkward shuffling and a whole lot of side-eye from the neighbors. Thought it was over? Brenda's not the type to let things go. 2 days later, city inspector shows up, Dave Kruger, Roy's old business partner. He stumbled around my dock, took photos, invented 17 violations. Insufficient lighting, dangerous electrical box that passed Coast Guard inspection, and recommended municipal oversight for community safety. Translation? Roy and Brenda trying to seize my property by government power. But I've seen enough corruption to know where to look. A public records search showed Dave and Roy's past together, a construction company that stiffed contractors for $200,000. Classic. So, I paid for an independent marine audit, Dr. Sarah Hugo, a real pro. She checked every bolt and cable, declared the Marina exemplary, exceeding all standards. Meanwhile, anonymous packages started showing up at my door. HOA minutes, bank statements. Turns out Brenda's real estate company had collected $47,000 in Marina access fees over 18 months, while telling buyers the slips came with their houses. Her scam was bigger than I thought. That's when I met Eleanor Fairbanks, one of the original HOA founders and the quietest woman in any meeting. She'd helped Uncle Frank negotiate the original Marina exemption. She handed over old minutes, bank records, and even Brenda's handwritten letter from '87, admitting, in her own script, that the Marina was private property outside HOA control. With the evidence piling up, Brenda went full scorched earth. Petitions about traffic and environmental hazards. A media blitz about the uncooperative veteran ruining community spirit. A Channel 8 interview where Brenda played the victim in a white blazer, waving at my locked gate on the news. She organized a Marina liberation protest. 23 people chanting, all carefully staying on public property. She even filed an environmental complaint. Inspector Janet Morrison came out, measured everything, and found my Marina hadn't changed in 30 years. In fact, they use it as a reference for other projects. Then Roy cranked it up, got my property taxes reassessed from $12,000 to $42,000, using his city council seat to hit me where it hurt. Anonymous threats, flyers, rumors about my military service. You name it, they tried it. But thanks to Eleanor's filing system and my Coast Guard habit of documenting everything, we tracked every move. It wasn't just me. The Hendersons were run out of town the same way. 3 military families all promised boat slips in writing, all charged extra for the privilege. My attorney, Rebecca Walsh, saw the pattern instantly. Federal mortgage fraud, civil rights violations, targeting veterans with manufactured emergencies. The FBI got involved, agents specializing in municipal corruption wanted in. Forensic accountant David Kim traced the money. Roy's construction company buying and flipping stolen properties, Brenda's illegal commissions from houses with Marina access. Eleanor rallied the community. Evidence poured in, photos, audio, security footage of vandalism by Brenda's crew. We set up a public town hall. Mandatory media access, federal agents quietly watching in the back row. Brenda tried every trick, faking an injury on my dock for a $50,000 lawsuit, caught in 4K by my cameras, bribing the insurance investigator with $10,000. He turned her in. And when all else failed, pulling out the dangerous PTSD veteran smear. My service record was spotless. Honorable discharge, commendations, not a single disciplinary mark. FBI agent Torres confirmed the whole thing met federal racketeering standards. Thursday night, the community center overflowed. Brenda and Roy strutted in, oblivious that process servers were waiting with indictments. We projected her handwritten admission on the big screen, played the footage of her fake fall, showed proof of every fraudulent sale. The crowd erupted. Tears, applause, cathartic laughter at Brenda's expense as the truth came out and real justice finally rolled in like a thunderstorm. 6 months later, Brenda pled guilty to fraud, conspiracy, bribery, 18 months in prison, $500,000 in restitution. Roy got 3 years for racketeering, abuse of office, their construction shell game blown wide open. The Hendersons got justice and a Florida retirement. The Martinezes got their dream home and college funds back, and my Marina stayed private, just like Frank intended. The gate still clangs shut every night, but now it's a symbol of victory over corruption. Eleanor Fairbanks, local hero now, founded the Millfield Property Rights Defense Fund, helping homeowners fight HOA abuse. The Marina hosts monthly fishing trips for veterans. The annual Freedom on the Water Festival draws hundreds. And my story? It gets told as both a warning and an inspiration, from Maine to California. So let me ask you, what would you do if your HOA tried to steal your property? Drop your story in the comments, because you're not alone. And if you want to see more David vs. Goliath wins, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and stick around for the next showdown. If I learned anything from Uncle Frank, and from Brenda's epic downfall, it's this: justice is possible, but you'd better bring your receipts.